ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਗੋਬਿੰਦੇ ਮੁਕੰਦੇ ਉਦਾਰੇ ਅਪਾਰੇ, ਹਰੀਅੰ ਕਰੀਅੰ ਨਿਰਨਾਮੇ ਅਕਾਮੇ। ਗੋਬਿੰਦੇ ਮੁਕੰਦੇ ਉਦਾਰੇ ਅਪਾਰੇ, ਹਰੀਅੰ ਕਰੀਅੰ ਨਿਰਨਾਮੇ ਅਕਾਮੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Maharaj Kripa, today we are going to continue from Adhyaae 3rd, Salok number 12. And here Astavakra ji is explaining about the Mehma, the qualities of self-realized or Brahmagyani, that how do they, what are the qualities that they have. So Salok, ਇੱਛਾ ਰਹਿਤ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਮੋਖ ਦੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਸ ਆਤਮ ਗਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਤ੍ਰਿਪਤ ਮਹਾਤਮਾ ਦੀ ਤੁਲਨਾ ਕਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? ਭਾਵ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, so what Astavakra ji is explaining is that how can we even compare a self-realized person to anyone? Because someone who has realized the Brahm, their own Atam Sarup, they have become desireless. So they don't even have the desire of liberation because they understand what liberation is. As we previously discussed that all these vikar, kam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar, or the bondage or the liberation, these are all the states of the mind. But the Atam Sarup, the consciousness itself, does not have any of that. So when a self-realized person is so still in their own Atam Sarup that they don't even have desire of liberation. So in that, they have become tript. What does tript mean? Content. That's why in Gurbani Maharaj asks for Dehe Nama Santokhiya. Even in Gurbani Maharaj says, give me something that is going to quench my all the thirst. And there is only one thing that can actually destroy all the desires, and that is the self-realization. Without realizing who we actually are, the mind is constantly going to wander towards the outer world, towards the different things. But the moment when we practice staying in our own Nij Sarup, in our Atam Sarup, all the desires slowly start to cease. So in same way, Astavakra ji is saying that there is no point of comparing a self-realized person to anyone else. Salok, ਇਹ ਜਾਣਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਦਿਸ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸੁਭਾਅ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਮਿਥਿਆ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਵੇਖਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਗ੍ਰਹਿਣ ਕਰਨ ਯੋਗ ਅਤੇ ਕੀ ਛੱਡਣ ਯੋਗ? So what Astavakra ji is explaining is that a self-realized person knows that whatever we are perceiving through the senses, it's all temporary. So as we did vichar of this before, that whatever the senses perceive through the eyes, through the ears, all that world is mithya. So mithya is that which is constantly changing. Now, again, we have to reflect this, that when we look at our body, when we look at the world, we notice things are always changing. It means that is not a sattvastu. That's not the complete truth, because truth never changes, right? So the consciousness never changes. But that there is something within each one of us that we all have that. It's not that a Gyani has it more or a Manmukh has less of it. So that's how we practice within our body. We practice that there is something, this awareness within each one of us that's never changing. It was there when the body was a baby. It's here when we are going through a youth, certain age, as a teenager. It's going to be there in the old age too. It's there when we are engaging with the world. It's there when we are in the dream state, and it's there in the deep sleep as well. So that's how a self-realized person acknowledges this very well, that everything that's passing by is actually temporary. So what they do, they don't think about that I should consume this, because they know that they are not consuming anything. The awareness does not consume anything. It's the body that consumes things, or the mind that has that wanders around. And so let's understand this a little bit in depth here. When we are feeling hungry, it's that what's happening is the digestive fire in the stomach that's causing hunger. But because we think we are this body, I'm feeling hungry. But the truth is, when we do vichar of it, it's actually that fire, that acid in the stomach causing hunger. And when we feed some kind of food, obviously then we feel full. So this process is constantly going on. So it's called these rajo, sato, tamo. These this nature, how the body was formed, is constantly going on. So when we realize who we are as the awareness, then we don't focus on that I should be consuming this or I should not be consuming this. We obviously have to look after the body. So we eat that which gives satisfaction to the body. So only to a point that keeps the body going. And then we don't, like, the thought of that should I do this or should I not do this completely ceases. Salok, ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਭੋਗਾਂ ਦਾ ਤਿਆਗ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਦਵੰਦ ਰਹਿਤ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਛਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਸ ਲਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੋਇਆ ਭੋਗ ਨਾ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਉਦਾਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਨਾ ਖੁਸ਼. So Astavakra ji is saying here that the person, the self-realized, the Brahmgyani, who has absolutely reached a state of detachment, that the mind absolutely has reached a state of detachment. How did the mind reach the state of detachment? By staying in still in their own sarup. So the Brahmagyani doesn't do chintan of Paramatma anymore as well, because for Brahmagyani, Paramatma and himself are not separate. So what's happening? The duality has dropped, because there is no you, there is no me, there is no Paramatma, there is no Pagat. They have become one, because it is one. It is because of lack of understanding. We think we are separate to Akal Purakh. We think we are separate to consciousness and somehow it exists somewhere else. But when we have the self realization, then the duality drops, and because there is only oneness there. So, what happens in that state? The desires drop. It's like a byproduct. So, the byproduct of self realization is peace, because it is the very nature of consciousness. The byproduct of self realization is a desireless state. The byproduct of self realization is escaping all the bondages. The byproduct of that is to not even classify oneself as the body or to engage in particular religion. The self realized person doesn't think that he is a Hindu or a Sikh or a Muslim or a Christian or an atheist. So here Maharaj is explaining ਉਸ ਲਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੋਇਆ. Yeah, so whatever naturally comes to this person, they don't become excited about it. They're just still in there as they are observing. Things are passing by in front of them. If someone gives them something, they don't become excited about it because they know how temporary that is. They know it's only happening within their conscious level. So if someone takes anything from them, they don't become upset about it. So how they engage with the world, whatever naturally comes, they just let it pass. So they don't become excited about it as well. Chotha Adhyaae. So in this Adhyaae, ਇਸ ਅਧਿਆਏ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਨਕ ਜੀ ਆਤਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਦੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ. So Janak ji is going to explain the qualities, or in a way praises of the self-realized person. So I think by now we should have this clarity that who a Brahmagyan is, or these words are interlinked. In English, we call it self-realization, enlightenment. All these different words are there, or Brahmagyani in Punjabi. So here, Raja Janak ji is going to tell about a little bit more about who a self-realized person is and how they perform, play this Cade, right? Because remember, what Gurbani is telling as well, and these Granths are telling as well, is that this is a play going on. Even if we don't realize or we can't see it, it is a play going on. So for a Brahmgyani, they can see it. They know how the play works. It's like a director, right? So a director of the movie very well knows what the play is about, and he knows that what are these characters, that how I'm going to make this movie. So same way a self-realized person performs in this world in a playful way, just like how Krishna Maharaj ji did. He did Leela, and even Guru Gobind Singh ji, all the Brahmgyani, how they lived in the life, they lived in a very non-dualistic way, ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਪਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਸੁੱਖ ਦੁੱਖ, ਉਸਤਤ ਨਿੰਦਾ, ਹਰਖ ਸੋਗ ਆਦ ਉਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਅਸਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾ ਸਕਦੇ. So because they are still in their own Atam Sarup, in that non-duality, the Sukh and Dukh both doesn't reach it. That's why it's called Ananda state. Right? So Dukh, when the Dukh comes, it's like a shield that forms around them, that the Sukh can't enter, the Dukh can't enter, and it is only a constant bliss. So that's why all these words are explained, that there is a state within you that is full of profound bliss, that is full of peace. So ustat ninda, if someone praises them, they don't get affected by it. If someone slanders them, they don't get affected by it. And from starting up until now, like even 500 years ago, we have had Bhagats, Mahapurush giving us, they are the role models. They have shown us that it is very much possible. These people who were enlightened, they knew what they were talking about. So it is very important. Now in today's world, we like to have a role model, right? Same way, these Mahatma Jans should be our role model, that we have to follow their path. That's what it's called. Those who started following Guru Nanak Dev Ji started calling themselves as Sikh of the Guru, right? So those who started following Muhammad Sahib, they started thinking he's our guru, right? Same way, we have to follow these footsteps of the Bhagat Jan and how they live their life. ਹਰਖ ਸੋਗ ਆਦ ਉਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਅਸਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾ ਸਕਦੇ, ਜਦ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸੰਸਾਰੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ. ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ, so basically Raja Janak ji here is saying that it is kind of like, there is no point of comparing a self-realized person to anyone else, because the state the self-realized person is in is beyond description. So there is no point of even talking about it. Basically, that's what Raja Janak ji is saying. It will be foolish of to even compare an enlightened person to someone else. So what does really this mean is that basically saying that those who haven't realized themselves should follow the footpaths of those Mahapurukhs who have had the self-realization. And for that, we have so many examples around us from Itihas, from Sadh Sangat. When we go to the Sadh Sangat or we come across a Brahmgyani, we can when we talk to them, we can understand that these are the qualities that they are actually practicing to realize their own sarup. Salok. Janak ne keha, ਨਿਸ਼ਚੇ ਹੀ ਆਤਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਧੀਰ ਪੁਰਸ਼ ਭੋਗ ਲੀਲਾ ਖੇਡਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਦੀ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਢੋਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਅਰਥਾਤ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਪਤ ਮੂਰਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਲਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ. So in acknowledgement, Raja Janak is saying that 100% I agree to that, that um, a self-real, we cannot compare a person who is playing this game to someone who's being played. So someone who knows how the game works and someone who is getting entangled in the cage of a Kalpurk. We cannot simply compare this. And the reason is as well because Atam Gyani janda hai ki supanari sansar mithni bisthar. And why is it that? Because a self-realized person is only living, functioning in this world knowing that it is just a dream. It is all temporary, so they don't take it too serious as well, that this is all good. It's a play happening in consciousness. So that's why they live a very carefree, they are content. Naturally they have all these qualities within them. Naturally they don't hate anyone, because who will they hate? All they are experiencing is themselves as their Atam Sarup. So there is no second person left for them. There is no friend, no enemy. All they see is them, their own sarup, like a play. Just how we understand that a child is sitting on a beach and he builds this castle and then he destroys it. It's his castle, he created it. Once he's done playing with it, he just destroys it. Same way, a self realized person plays in this world in that way. Salok, ਜਿਸ ਪਦ ਦੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਇੰਦਰ ਆਦ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇਵਤੇ ਦੀਨ ਹੋਏ ਹੋਏ ਹਨ। ਹੈਰਾਨੀ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਪਦ ਉੱਤੇ ਸਥਿਤ ਯੋਗੀ ਹਰਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ। Maharaj is saying that it is astonishing that this state of realization of consciousness, who we are, even the devte like Indra, even they want to attain this avastha. And the reason they want to attain this avastha is because they are tired of chasing something that does not exist. Even they had desires at one point to indulge into things, to have experienced different things. And eventually they came to a realization that being as a human and after having that self realization, all the desires drop from here. So that's why Maharaj is saying that it is astonishing that the state that Devte like Indra wants to experience, but for a Brahmgyani, they are not even happy about attaining that state. Now, what does this mean? It means that Brahmgyani does not think he's a Brahmgyani. They don't even think that they are a Brahmgyani. They are so still in their Atam Sarup that for them, Brahm, Akal Purakh are not separate. So, but for Indra Devta or for people like myself, we want to attain status like even in worldly things, we want to chase one position after the another. And then we say, I'm a sant, I am a Gurmukh. Before I was a Manmukh, now I'm a Gurmukh. Notice what's happening there. The mind first used to identify itself with this avastha called Manmat. Then we start doing some part, then we start reading some Granth, and all of a sudden the mind starts labeling it as Gurmukh. But a realized person, a real enlightened person, does not even think that they have attained that state. That happens in so much natural way. And how can that happen? How can we experience that too? By doing abhyas of what is being read, by doing vichar of this with sangat, by doing this in a very nishkam way, by not expecting anything in return. So it's a very simple actual formula that Mahapurukh, that Gurbani gives us, that do everything, do vichar of Akal Purukh, the Sat Vastu, understand how your mind is working, understand who you really are, and do vichar with those who are walking on the path. So, in that way, slowly and steadily, all the param, the doubt of the mind, gets removed, and one becomes still in the Atam Sarup. Salok. ਉਸ ਪਦ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਦੇ ਅੰਤਰ ਮਨ ਦਾ ਪੁੰਨਾ ਪਾਪਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਪਰਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਦਿਸਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਵੀ ਧੂਏ ਦਾ ਆਕਾਸ਼ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. Now, with as we discussed previously as well, that the pun and pap, they are subjective. They are different from perception to perception. Something that one person might think this is pap might be actually a pun for the other person. So who decides what is pun and pap? I was actually reading Ananda Sahib the other day, and there is one podi that Maharaj says, Simrat Sastra Pun Pap Vichar De, Tatte Sar Na Jani Guru Bajo. So, what Maharaj is saying that when we are reading different granths or Simra Sastra, so these are the granths that are out there. There are certain granths that talk about that if you do this, you will get pun. You'll gather good karma, right? And there are these things, certain things. If you do these things, you're going to get bad karma. But Mara is saying that why you're not focusing on the essence? Why are you so entangled in these pap and pun? Because Maharaj has already explained that pap and pun both are like those handcuffs. So the pap are the handcuffs that are made of iron, and the pun are the handcuffs made of gold. But at the end of the day, they are both handcuffs. Why do you want to put yourself in handcuffs? Why not rise above both? Why are you still debating about this is pap, this is pun? That's why a self-realized person does not even engage in these kind of conversations, because they know these are pointless. They know there is a state that is beyond these pap pun, this duality. And how this is, so when we see smoke in the sky, now when we look at the smoke, it appears that it's touching the sky, but obviously on having a vichar about it, we understand that actually the space is in no contact with the smoke. So the smoke is literally just in the air, and the space has no contact with it. In the same way, Atam Gyani has no contact with Pap or Pun. Even if they are doing anything, whatever that's happening naturally through their body, it doesn't classify as Pap and Pun, because they have understood, they have attained that state which is beyond this as well. And this state is again present in everyone. It's this awareness constant which has no impurities attached to it. So there is no contact between good, bad, um, hot, cold, any sense of duality doesn't touch that. So that's what Maharaj is explaining here in that it's like space. That thing, the clouds that are passing in front of the space. Same way, all these actions are just happening at thought level. Thoughts are appearing in front of the awareness. The moment you think that you are this thought, you are actually becoming that thought. But the moment you step back, have a pause, step back, that I'm not this thought. This is the wisdom you're applying in your everyday practice, that I'm not this body, I'm not this thought. What's left behind is your Atam Sarup. Salok. जिस महात्मा ने यह जान लिया है कि यह सारा जगत आत्मा स्वै ही है, ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਛਾ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਵਰਤਨ ਤੋਂ ਰੋਕਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਮਰਥ ਕੌਣ? ਭਾਵ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ. Now, again, this is being explained about a self-realized person, that how they operate is pretty much they're saying they live according to whatever the furna comes in their mind. First of all, they have conquered their mind. That's why Gurbani says, Man jeeta jag jeet. So the self-realized Mahatma Purukh, they have attained a state where they have conquered their mind. So any desire that comes in the mind, they just act accordingly as well. And nobody can stop it. That's why, Sangat ji, when we read Itihas, we fail to understand that why did Krishna Maharaj did what was supposed to be done? Why did Guru Gobind Singh ji did certain things? Because when we are looking at them, we are looking at their body. We're not able to perceive that thing which is beyond form. But when the Atam Gyani, they are so in tune, there is no separate self left in them. The Akal Purakh and the Atam Gyani are not separate. So anything, any thought that is coming in them is of Akal Purakh itself. That's what Raja Janak ji here is saying, that their Leela, their Khed is amazing, and we are not able to understand because what we are seeing is a body. But the Atam Gyani is no longer attached to the body. They do according to the bigger play that is going on. Salok, ਬ੍ਰਹਮਾ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਘਾਹ ਦੇ ਗੁੱਛੇ ਤੱਕ ਚਾਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਜੀਵ ਸਮੂਹ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੇਵਲ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਅਨਿੱਛਾ ਤਿਆਗਣ ਦੀ ਸਮਰੱਥਾ ਹੈ. So here it's being explained that how desires work. First of all, in this earth, we have desires, right? We have different desires based on everyone's got different desires going on in the mind. We all would know, right, that what our desires are. So in the same way, Maharaj is saying that only a self-realized person, only a Brahm Gyani has the capacity to create a desire and to destroy it as well. So that is, again, if we are getting carried away by our desire, that's why we need to do more abhyas. The more abhyas, first of all, to realize the Atam Sarup, and at the end, to when we stay still in the Atam Sarup, naturally certain things, you get the answer to certain things. And one of the answer here, Maharaj is saying that desires and the creation of desires and the destruction of desires become under control of the self-realized person. That's why they create a desire when according to their own will, and they can destroy it as well according to their own will, because they are still in the Atmavastha. But if we don't know who we are, if we are still attached to the body, still thinking this is me, the other person is this person, then we are going to get stuck behind the desires. And that's why we have to realize who we really are, so we can completely win over the world. And the world is the mind. The world exists in the mind only. So here Maharaj explains that how Paramatma creates the jeev. So there are jeeves, species that are formed from eggs, which is like birds. Then there is Jeraj, like womb, which is like animals or human beings. Saitaj, from sweats. So there are like, the lyses or microbacterias or microbes. These are formed from sweat. And then there are species that are born from the earth, which is the plants, all the vegetation. So sab moh maya sarir har kiya. So this is a game of Maya that Maharaj Akalpur created cause of attachment. So it means whatever your dukh sukh are happening is actually you have Akal Purukh has given you the power to stop all that. This is a big thing. We think that we are getting dukh sukh from outside world, but actually, very much each human being has the power to completely stop their dukh. But the question is, are we going to waste our life chasing things outwardly, or are we going to actually inquire within ourselves? Are we going to connect something that is permanent, that's going to put a full stop to all the desires and all the dukh? So, Salok, कोई विरला ही जानदा है कि आत्मा ते जगदीश दो नहीं. Mara says, it is actually very rare ones who actually know. And what does it mean they know? It means they have experienced it. Now, funny thing is, I'm not much of a social media person, but every time I open social media, this always cracks me up because I'm like, wow, there are so many enlightened people out there. Because the Insta algorithm works like that, right? We open social media, all we see is Brahm Gyan everywhere. And the moment when we try to talk to the person, we realize it's just the theoretical knowledge. Now, if those students who are listening to for the first time, there are two types of self realization or Brahm Gyan. One is theoretical and one is the experimental. Just like how you go to a uni, when you go to a school, you read about it, right? So today we are reading about it. When we practice that, let's say you go to uni, you read a book, and then slowly you put into practice, you have the experience of it. You become the doctor, you get that experience, you become qualified. It's very similar to that. We read about it, we read Gurbani. We're not reading Gurbani to impress some Akal Purakh. We are not reading Gurbani to impress Guru Sahib. We are reading so we can realize who we are. So when we do abhyas of Shabad, when we read something, when we listen to the katha, when we do vichar of it, and when we eventually apply in our life, we get an experience. Because don't forget, we are the Akal Sarup. We are that consciousness. We are not separate. Akal Purakh is not going to come in front of you from out somewhere. It's going to come within you. It is within you, and the realization is going to happen within yourself only. No one is going to come from outside to tell you that you have realized the Atam Sarup. You would within yourself, based on your abhyas. Now, the question for each one of us is, how much willing are we, how much are we able to do the abhyas in with full imandari? How much do we, when we listen to a katha, when we read a granth, how much can we practice it? Can we actually practice those things in our day to day life? Then slowly, when we practice, the experience of it happens. And that's why Mara says it is extremely rare, because it's not easy at the same time. But once we start walking on this journey, slowly, eventually, it starts becoming easy as well. So there are different stages of Brahm Gyan. We did vichar of this previously as well, that until someone reaches the final stage of Puran realization, they can fall down. That's why it's important to constantly do abhyas. And like I have learned from my Vidya Guru, I'm sharing with you that always keep the mind in Gurbani. Wherever you go, it could be any mantra, it could be any name. You could be born in any religion. Don't let the religion bound you. Don't let anyone say that you can't say the word Allah. Understand what Allah means. Understand what Ram means. A word that could be something that could make me realize my Sarup might be different to what would work for Agampreet or Satvir or Shiranji. So it could be different for each one of us. So don't follow that oh no, I have to recite this word because um that person said that I should say this. See, experiment within yourself what works for you. So Maharaj gave Vaheguru. Some people, so for some, Vaheguru might not work. Now, this can trigger some people because Vaheguru is a very powerful mantra. But the truth is, that's why Gurbani gave so many mantra. Gurbani said, okay, if this doesn't work for you, do Ram. If this doesn't work for you, do tu hi tu hi. If this doesn't work, try this word. But you don't have to share, express it to the world. Just practice within yourself and see what connects you to this truth that is already within you. Hanji. So, Maharaj Kirpa, we will take Vishram here. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.